Hello and welcome to a brand new mini-series. My name is Roberto, and in this series, we'll be talking to real entrepreneurs to hear their story and learn from their journeys and get inspired by the work they're doing. For our very first episode, we have Yasmo Gutierrez, founder of GeeGoals, a company that is revolutionizing the baking industry. Yasmo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and I really look forward to. I'm honored actually to be the number one on this space. So I'm honored. I'm ready to take on any questions. If I go a little bit wild on my questions, just let me know. On the answers, just let me know.
So to kick things off, why don't you tell our audience who you are, what you do, and sort of tell us what inspired you to create GeeGoals.
Yes. So like Alberto said, my name is Yasmo Gutierrez. My friends call me Joe. I am born and raised in a beautiful island called Cuba. And what inspired me to do GeeGoals, it was my experience with the financial system in the United States. This doesn't just apply to me, it applies pretty much to any immigrant that comes from any country that is not familiar with the financial system in the United States. Technically, and for entrepreneurs specifically, whenever we're trying to do some sort of entrepreneurship, right, or a company, we don't have a network. We don't have family members, or many of us don't have family members or wealthy family members that can help us start our businesses over here in the United States. So with that said, what have noticed for me, what introduced me to the financial system was bankers, local bankers. In my case was my local credit union, School First Federal Credit Union, that literally taught me the A to Z. What is credit, how it works, how to build it, and why it's so important. When you're starting a business, that information is extremely important because you just don't know. How are you gonna be using, let's say that tomorrow you get a loan, how are you gonna be using that loan? Is that loan is gonna help you grow? Or is that loan is just for operational stuff? And what are some of the financial ratios that those bankers or those lenders are looking into in order to help you understand how you can continue to grow? That data, that information, you can absolutely find it online, but for me was, okay, I actually need someone. I need a human being that understands some of where I'm coming from and would put the time, the investment, and say, hey, this is exactly how you can go from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 2, right? For now, let's make sure that you get that credit card. And then after 3 months, let's make sure that you can increase that credit card, but I wanna make sure that you make those payments off every single month in full. So by doing it, by building a remarkably human platform that matches with experts in a specific industry, I was able to resolve two things: access to capital and access to good people that can help you understand how the financial system in your specific industry works. So that's technically what I'm trying to accomplish with GeeGoals at the early stage that we're in right now, because again, we are startup, we are in pre-seed, and we literally just launched our first prototype.
Amazing, that's fantastic to hear. Congrats on the launch, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So GeeGoals was founded in 2022. What were some tough trade-offs, financially or resources, that GeeGoals had to face? What were some tough challenges, starting that company from scratch?
So it was before GeeGoals, I had a franchise with Lendio, which, if people don't know Lendio is the number one small business lending marketplace in the United States. And as a franchisee, you're technically running a small business. And once again, by not knowing, my biggest mistake was thinking that you would do a startup the same way that you would run a small business. And those are two completely different environments, two completely different forms of entrepreneurship. That was mistake number one. And it was a very, very hard lesson. It was the fact that I didn't know, I understood what the small business owners wanted, but I didn't know how to get access to the financial providers. Why would they come to me, right? How they see me, some of the stuff that I just didn't know, right? Even though I have amazing people on my team that they were able to steer me away, it kind of like got me into the right direction. This is what you need. And some of those accelerator programs, like the one with NetSuite, that pulled me into those meetings with VCs and investors to technically tell me how other people who might want to invest in my company, they will see me. Now, I'm not an expert by any means, I'm sorry. I only pitched like 3 or 4 times, and you invited me to one of those pitches, as you know. Any entrepreneur that has been on FinTech, that have raised capital, everybody have told me that you need to do it at least. You need to knock on at least 40 different doors before you get your first check. So I feel like I haven't put the work on it because I have focused more time and effort into the platform and understanding what is my core product, understanding my clients, and understanding the financial providers and the reason why they would like to come to GeeGoals.
I absolutely love that. Fantastic. So on your onboarding experiences from is no document uploads and no credit pools. Tell us, how do you streamline that process? So how does your platform sort of acquire the information necessary to have an adequate information for both the bankers and for the clients?
At this stage where we are right now, which is again, at the very, very beginning, we decided to do just questions. But how do we come up with those questions was, once again, talking with those financial providers. And not just one, I spoke with at least 10 to 15 of them. Almost all of them located here in Southern California, again, plus my experience that I already have, 6 years of experience doing small business lending. But I wanted to corroborate that information with them for specific financial products. So when small businesses come to the platform and they answer those questions, those are questions already pre-vetted by financial providers. So I always tell people, you can come from the money, but stay for the relationship. And as long as you're honest inside the platform, your chances of getting funded go from 0 to 50%. And that other extra 50% is just you making sure that the financial documentation that you provide matches whatever you say on those questions, whatever you answer on those questions. So that's how we came up with that. Again, listening to the financial providers and listening to the business owners. Sometimes I'm one of those guys that I'm all about privacy, right? And if anyone has ever taken a loan, you know that in many platforms, they ask you for your social, they ask you for your phone number, and then you get bombarded with text messages, with phone calls, even when you don't even, you're just wondering, you just wanted to talk to somebody. So I say, you know what, I don't need to ask for your social. I don't need to ask for your phone number. I just want you to be honest, and as long as you're honest, I'm going to connect you with that right person. And it's just simple as that.
So what's the user experience like? What's the feedback both from the users and from the bank itself?
Yeah, for the bankers, we recently just onboarded Eagle Community Credit Union, so big shout outs to Marlene and to you because you did the introduction. So far has been good, but then we are on the testing phase right now, right? For the small business owners has been, so far for the business owners that I've talked to, they like the fact that it's so simple, but they also told me about the design. It's like, yo, there's some tiny things that you need to fix here and there, but then again, we underfunded, right? we work with what we have. So, but this 7 years of experience hasn't been for nothing, right? We have talked with over 2,000 small business owners, again, over the course of the year. So we're hoping that we push at least 500 of them in the platform to get that rapid feedback. So far has been good, but we're still gonna push for more feedback because right now we have like 10 different business owners that have signed up. And I wanna make sure that we get to that 500 in the next 2 months.
Absolutely fantastic. And yes, no, I'm glad it's going good with you and the Eagle Credit Union. There's tons of opportunity out there for your platform and for the bankers itself.
Oh, absolutely. The bankers will love the platform because we have made it so easy. They don't have to invest in technology. They don't have to integrate with any of the systems. They see me as a lead generation platform, which I'm okay with, but I always tell them I am the lead generation platform, right? Because I'm educating borrowers. I understand where you're coming from. And my goal is not just to send it over to you so you can forget about them, right? We're gonna have reviews. which are not going to be based on the outcome but the level of service. And small businesses love that feature. They are in love with the fact that we're going to have reviews for the level of service inside the platform. And that's one of the things that I noticed that they generally appreciate on the platform: the simplicity, the fact that I know about risk management, the fact that I'm taking the necessary steps to verify these clients. And again, we haven't integrated AI, but that is coming in order to make it more simple for them. And my vision is just not stopping here in the United States. I want to make this global.
Yes, I mean, you and I spoke previously, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you wanted to create a platform first, and then a currency, down the line, streamlined.
Yes, again, we have to focus on our core value or core product, which is a remarkably human capital access matching platform, right? So ideally, first, we're going to conquer the US market completely. My goal is to reach out to those 4,200 banks that we have in the United States, along with CDFIs and credit unions. Are we gonna get all of them? Probably not, but we're definitely gonna try to go for all of them, right? Because my idea, again, coming from somebody who doesn't come from wealth, from the immigrant perspective, I feel like GeeGoals' real mission, besides just connecting everybody, is to master debt financing. We really want to know what are the financial products that can help you at any stage of the company, right? Of your company. For example, when you're in a startup and you need, I'm gonna put out a truck driver, for example, and you're gonna need to buy that truck. Can you buy it from that vendor? But if that vendor says no, and you know that your bank is not going to give you that $50,000, well, can you work with a CDFI? And what will be those CDFIs that can help you acquire that truck? We want to make sure that when people go to GeeGoals, they know that they have the road laid out for them. This is the financial institutions that can help you at this level. These are the credit cards from the financial institutions that can help you build that business credit. Once you continue to grow, these are the financial institutions that can help you get to that next step when you have asset-based financing. So talking about the idea, it just excited me because I'm like, man, imagine yourself tomorrow saying, I want to start a business, but I don't know how to start. And then you go to GeeGoals and it's just right there. Oh, this is what they need. Oh, this is how they see me. Oh, this is the person who knows how I can get to that specific asset. Oh, he's gonna give me that capital. Oh, but he knows about the industry, so I can network with that person and talk to them, just like we're talking right now, and give me that information that maybe I don't know, but he might know from the financial perspective. It's, oh my goodness. I just get excited about it because I know people need it. I know there's a ton of people here in the United States, immigrants and not immigrants, that they just really want access to good quality information and good people who can steer them in the right direction. I cannot do that myself. That's why I bring financial providers that are aligned with my vision and my values. But I just don't want to do it here in the United States. I want to keep that out there, outside of those borders, right? In Mexico, Canada, and any other country. Because let's be honest, I don't think, if you tell people if they want to be immigrants, the answer is going to be no. People come to the United States because they have the opportunity that they couldn't get in their home countries. You leave your country when your home country is telling you that you cannot be here no more. That's a very, I'm sorry I went too deep onto that, but I have talked to so many immigrant entrepreneurs from Africa, from Asia, from Latin America, from Europe, right? And even you don't have to be an immigrant, right? I always say the kid from Arkansas that always wanted to be an actor, he needed to leave Arkansas because Hollywood was in LA, right? Economic opportunity. They weren't on that state, so they come to California because they have a better chance to achieve their dream. I believe it should be the same in every country out there.
Of course, and like I mentioned, you're really revolutionizing not just the banking industry, but like almost every industry you're tapping into. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic what you're doing. So let's definitely push forward, and hopefully we can get GeeGoals, its first user operated in a different country.
I appreciate it. I always say we can fail tomorrow, but it won't be for lack of effort. That's for sure.
Yeah. So GeeGoal operates under the motto, "Haz bien, no mires a quién, do good no matter whom." How does that core value still instill with GeeGoals to this day, and how does it affect your leadership style?
It's something that I learned as a kid. My grandma, my mom, the neighborhood that I grew up with, it was always that, do good no matter who, and karma will do the rest, right? I still do that today. The way I apply that on GeeGoals is exactly, once again, making it remarkably human. You and I might not be the same. Well, you and I can be brothers tomorrow. We can be born and raised in the same house, in the same home, but you and I might have different views about how we perceive the world, and that's okay, right? That's human nature. But to me, I always say, this has been my experience, that most people that I encounter are good. They're just generally good. Sometimes we have cultural difference, but they're generally good on their own ways. So why we cannot have that, right? For example, there might be someone from even in Latin America, we do have very similar cultures, but everybody stays on his own lane because we all have different cultures at the end of the day. We speak the same language, but they have different cultures. Maybe you want to connect with that banker that is from Mexico, because he might understand you better than I might be. Well, let's make sure that I give you access to that banker from Mexico right there on that platform, right? Or maybe you're from France and you don't care if the banker is Mexican or American, but you care that they truly understand maybe French, right? The same language, so you can be on the same wavelength, right? You gotta be on the same point. Well, let's make sure that you connect with a banker that at least can speak French. The communication is key, and we cannot pretend that it's not. The communication is key. So that's what I mean, do good without looking at who. Whoever wants to come on the platform, that wants to get access to capital and get a good shot at being successful, I want to make sure that that banker is that banker or financial provider or a representative from that financial institution is in that platform. That's the way I do good without looking at who, and making sure that those features are there.
Yes, I absolutely love that, respect that. So going back to what you just said about representatives and banks, so you've actually been taking advantage of multiple times while you were starting your company. So tell us a bit more about that and how that sort of shaped and changed your perspective on banking, and what sort of guided you to have more of an integrity when reaching out to banks.
Yes, so initially this is back when I started my own franchise, when I was trying to get access to capital. Even though I was making good money, almost 6 figures, I was in the high end and have amazing credit, I was still getting declined. But nobody took the time to explain to me why I was getting declined. Nobody did, literally. They just, well, you're gonna receive a letter, right? Because that's usually what happens. Until I was able to find a good friend from Bank of California, talk to me and say, well, Joe, the problem is the industry that you're in. Not every financial institution is comfortable with that. So instead of just applying and running your credit 4 or 5 times and still getting declined, maybe before you do that, you just want to call and ask if they actually lend to people in your industry, to businesses in your industry. That conversation is what helped me get the $30,000 loan. I literally just called another financial institution and they say, yeah, we can help out with that. If your numbers look fine, we can definitely do that. Boom, got approved 24 hours later. So you see the pattern there, like it's always someone that is willing to take the time to educate you about what is going on. But some people don't do that. Some people, they just, well, too bad. next, right? and I understand that too. I understand that you want to employ your time where it's more profitable, I guess. But well, I don't know what to say. I guess AI will do a better job at doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
So it goes back to the level of service, that level of human connection that makes you irreplaceable. Boom, GeeGoals.
Fantastic. And then, so your blogs cover SBA loans, debt financing. So how do you tend to help and educate your GeeGoals users, and how do you measure success while measuring their education and financial literacy?
At the end of the day, the GeeGoals platform, people, once again, they come from the money, they want to get funded, or they want to open a bank account with the right financial institution, or they just want a good connection, because I have noticed, I have been, how can I say, lucky enough to work with small businesses that say, I just want a good banker. I don't need a loan, I don't need a credit card, I just genuinely want a good banker. And in GeeGoals, I decided to make sure that we do those three things. You get connected, you get banked, and funded, right? So financial education for us, that the blogs that I put on my website or every video that I try to educate people is to ensure that they get educated so they can get higher chances of getting whatever outcome they want. That better banker, that better financial relationship with that institution, or that loan at the best price, the highest amount, with the best level of service. That's what I emphasize so much on financial education. Although one of my advisors, Eli Rodriguez, is the one who's gonna be handling the financial education, because Eli is way better than me at financial literacy.
Going back to your AI response to our question, what sort of key differentials are you looking to implement with GeeGoals, and what sort of platforms out there are in competitive landscape to what you're trying to develop?
What I learned from AI in finance is that the future of what I believe, what I noticed, that the future of AI in finance is to be able to predict economic crisis. My opinion about the future of AI in finance is, yes, we should use AI, but we should use AI to create more economic opportunities. And if we're gonna be very bold about it, we should be able to create more sustainable and profitable economic opportunities for small businesses. That's the future of AI that I envision. AI in finance right now is being used to verify documentations, do cash flow analysis, which is all great. We're definitely going to implement those features as well on our platform. But once again, we don't want to make the technology the leading factor, right? GeeGoals is not an AI company. It's a human-centered company, right? It's a remarkably human platform to get access to capital. We happen to use AI to make our process more efficient, faster, better, you know, as far as like the interaction between bankers and business owners. But then again, it's not an AI company. We use AI as a means to an end. That's how we envision AI in finance. That's how we're going to be using it.
That's fantastic. So entrepreneurship. So what sort of tough trade-offs in not just entrepreneurship or in starting a fintech company? What sort of advice can you give those entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start a business or are seeking funding?
Focus on your customers, because once again, this is something that I learned with Lendio and has helped me a lot, to be honest with you, is to truly take the time to sit down with businesses, shut up and listen to them. Any assumption that I have goes out of the door when I talk to a business owner, a potential client. I might put my opinion in just to see what they believe on it, like if they see that, oh yeah, I might see value in this. But at the end of the day, focus on your customer, listen to your customers. They will tell you exactly what they want from you. And because of it, they will do your platform, your business better. It's something that it's generally, I have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
As well as don't ever give up, no matter what. Don't ever give up. For some entrepreneurs, you have to knock on more doors, but look at it as a better workout. And if it's possible, instead of leaving the door for the next person to knock on another 40, make sure that you keep it at 20 for the next person, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do with GeeGoals, right? Get access to capital. It took me, I don't know, a lot of networking events in order to find a great banker that wanted to connect with me, that understood me. What do I do right now? Well, now I want a platform that is able to reduce all that time for anybody, to cut it to 5, 6, 7 minutes. Something that took me month, a lot of lunches, right? And driving a lot around. So that's in my opinion, that's what everybody should be doing. Make it better for the next one, so we can have a better world.
Based on your journey from immigrant to CEO and founder, what are some key advantages for entrepreneurship? What sets you aside from your competitors?
I can genuinely say that I am the number one client of the platform that I'm building, right? So I'm the guy who comes with 5 pesos through that border down there in San Diego. I'm the one who didn't know anybody. I'm the one who literally have to get loans in order to push my platform forward. Now, that doesn't make it special, because a lot of people, Americans and non-Americans, are going through the same problem, right? They put too many hats. That is totally fine. However, there is always a learning curve that we have as an immigrants, right? I've been in Silicon Valley, and they literally say it like that. If I don't like you, why would I put money on you, right? So you have that too, that you chose a newcomer, like nobody knows you, nobody knows anything about you. That shouldn't never stop you, right? Whenever you set your goals to something, go for it with everything you have. But that's always been my thing with it, with people who are born here, with people who are not born here, and come at an older age. Because if you come here with 5 years, well, you already have a leg up, right? But if you didn't, and you don't know the language, and you just, because sometimes that, not knowing the language is also put you way behind too. Is that, like, I know exactly what it is not to know the language, because I learned English in the United States, right there in Centennial School in Santa Ana. And I've been literally going step by step out the ladder. I never have an uncle, a mom, or dad that say, yeah, it's $50,000, go crazy. Never had that. And I know many people never have that, but I truly understand what it is to connect with people who want to help you. And that's what makes us stronger. That's what makes us different.
Love that. I think that is the most logical thing you said so far. In regards to immigration, everyone comes to the U.S. with an idea for opportunity and for growth, and what you just said basically defines everything everyone comes here to find.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it is a struggle. I'm not going to decline it. It is a struggle to find that growth and find that opportunity here, but there's still that hope.
You're always gonna find. Again, it has been my experience. I can only speak from my experience. I cannot speak for anybody else. I have found, I live in California, for a little bit in Florida, in Utah. And my experience has been, I have found phenomenal people, very great people along the way. I have found other, jerks too, don't take me wrong. There's many of them out there. But it's always what you choose. Do you want to focus on the bad ones, or you just want to focus on the good ones, right? The ones that are literally pushing so you can have a better life, so you can have better economic opportunities, better lending, better whatever your goal is at the end of the day. You don't have to ignore the other ones because they're there, right? It's not that they're going away. but your energy will be better deployed if you just focus on the good ones and go with that mentality. Sometimes it's very tough, I'm not gonna lie, but do everything that you can, and when the time is right, do everything you can in order to put yourself in a better position. And also, I always gonna say this specifically to Latinos immigrants, you gotta get the hell out of your own community.
Yeah.
You really, like, people need to get the hell out of their own community. I won't tag for everybody, but I'm just gonna focus on the Latino community. They do have to get the hell out of their own communities. Tag to other people, go to any other community and learn. Shut up and listen and learn. Take that feedback. Oh, this is a new, better way to do it. I didn't know, I just learned something new. I always tell my mom that sometimes I'm the only Cuban, I'm the only Latin, and I happen to be the only black person in the room. And I'm totally okay with that. I look forward to it actually, because I get to learn something new. And that's the mentality that I go with. I'm kind of like always curious, so I get to learn something new. And I just focus on that. And with that mentality, boom, you see results. There we go. You create credit union or TMC Community Capital that also joined the platform. And we're looking to add more CDFIs too. You gotta be curious. You gotta come with a good heart and with that intention of learning, not giving but learning. So.
Yes, I mean, I totally agree with you. And to piggyback off what you just said regarding community and just speaking on diversity itself, there's tons of networking opportunities for entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. There's multiple chambers. There's chambers that promote diversity, and there's networking groups sort of like shout out to Let's Hip Anaheim that can really promote and help your business. So I really like what you're saying, and I really do think it's something that we need to take to heart, because it's something. Community and culture, yes, they go hand in hand, but when you're starting a business or when you're looking to start a business, it's sometimes not the best opportunity for you.
Yes, yeah. Shifting your mentality, right? Shifting your mentality, but not losing yourself from your culture, but also respecting other people's cultures and how they perceive certain stuff. I'm a very simplistic person. To me, it's all about respect, right? You go into networking event, and it might be, I don't know, it can be anything, right? But they're talking about a specific issue. Well, sit down, learn, and be an ally. Okay, how can I help? I feel like that you should always live with that question. How can I help? What can I do within my own possibilities? And sometimes it doesn't have to be financial, because people always think that it's all about money. Sometimes by just giving a shout out, just like you did, sometimes it's just saying, hey, this is a great organization and they're doing X, Y, and Z for this specific community, even if it have nothing to do with your community. It's just great. People will appreciate that. They will see and be like, man, this guy is he's there, he's out there. We definitely should come with Josmel or with Alberto next time we're gonna do something. And you never know, be surprised of the opportunities that will come later. Again, that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry if I rant about that. But
you said it absolutely right. It's not about what you do or how you can help. It's just by being there, being present, it's gonna get your business ahead of what it's already going to be.
Appreciate it.
You also spoken about economic opportunity by making business bankable. How do you measure that, and how do you promote a healthy business while also trying to help them be bankable?
Yes, it's definitely about education. It's always going to start with financial education. Once again, people who don't come from wealth, that maybe don't understand the financial system. We are not at that yet at GeeGoals, but when we build our prototypes that we already have, we literally have a tab. I haven't posted it there, but we do have a tab that is a financial library, where people will be able to see how the financial institution will see them, what they need to look out for, separating fiction from reality, right? Like when people say, oh, you can get a $100,000 loan at 0%, and it's not a loan, it's just a credit card, right? That kind of stuff, it would definitely help small businesses. So start with education, and then once again, I'm going with my experience. It start with connecting them with the right financial providers, and making sure that those financial providers have expertise in the industries that they're in. It cannot be just, oh, I'm gonna talk to Johnny from Wells Fargo because he's a great banker. I like Johnny from Wells Fargo because he's a great banker. Well, how many working capital loans have done Johnny from Wells Fargo in the last year? Oh, only one. Oh, but you need a line of credit, right? So what's the point of working with Johnny if Johnny is not gonna give you a line of credit? You gotta be a little bit selfish too. Maybe we wanna work with a local community bank that can actually meet you where you are right now. You can keep talking to Johnny. I'm not saying that Johnny's a bad guy. I'm just saying that you gotta be a little bit more selfish when it comes to your business and focus with those community banks that can actually help you grow to that next step, and connect with those people and talk to those people and learn from those people exactly how they want you to see your financials, right? Because that's another thing that business owners need to remember. You're going to the bank and asking for a loan, right? That's very risky. I feel like sometimes people don't understand that. That is actually very risky. You can literally go tomorrow, take $100,000, you get approved, take that money and run away. Boom, the bank just lost $100,000. So I feel like that's very important for them to know. Education, connecting with the right people, and making sure that they have the right financial ecosystem so they can continue to grow and have the right financial products based on the industry.
Last question, but I definitely want you to take your time. You can also answer in bilingual English, Spanish, but for any upcoming entrepreneur who is seeking to start a business, who is seeking funding, or who just is wanting to sort of understand what you're currently doing at GeeGoals, what advice would you give them, just your regular Joe who's working your 9 to 5? What can you tell them?
Yes, if you are a regular Joe working for 9 to 5, let me be very clear, because this is one of the mistakes that I made too. Do not leave your job. Let me just say that very, very clear. Do not leave your job. Try to find a way to test those assumptions that you have. And I'm gonna put the restaurant owner as an example. Today, let's say that you work in that 9 to 5, you're working on a kitchen, or you are a chef. Before you open that restaurant, before you spend $100,000 or $150,000 in opening up that restaurant, start with small wins. Make a plate, take a picture, post it on Facebook, and see how many likes you get. If you see that those pictures are getting a lot of likes, well, go in your community and see if you can do in-home delivery. Oh, this plate is $15 or $20 plus $5 delivery in a 20 miles radius. And then, little by little, you're going to start seeing if that business is going to be successful or not. Again, my advice is for people who don't come from wealth, that, because money is hard to come by. You work, crazy hours, you have your savings, and then you say, tomorrow I'm gonna change the world, and then you spend all $50,000 that you have saved. And now you're in the red. And then you gotta go back to work again, and you feel frustrated, you feel defeated. And man, it's so tough to make that money, so tough to make that money back. So yeah, do not leave your job, test your assumptions, get some success, and whenever you see that revenue is going to where it can sustain your style or living standards, then you want to make the jump. Then go ahead and get that $50,000 or $100,000, $200,000 loan to open that restaurant. Or start with a taco truck. Let's just put it that way, right? A taco truck where you only spending $50,000, and also focus on revenue. Go to some of the buildings, try to make a deal with them. Like, hey, if I'm come here every Friday, can everybody come and can I park my truck over here so I can sell some of that food to the people at your company? So those are kind of things. I'm sorry I went too long on this, but this is very, very important because, again, I've been there. So to not leave your job, try it out at a small scale, and when you see that it's actually growing, do the jump. So that's my advice.
Perfect. Yasmil, thank you so much for your journey, for your insights. Before we depart, I definitely want to give you the opportunity to promote, all your socials or your links, and then we can go from there.
Absolutely. And you can find me on Instagram. Well, the company is GeeGoals with a G, G-E-E, goals, _official. Also in YouTube with GeeGoals. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and also on Instagram, JosmelGD. So I really look forward to helping you guys out, helping you achieve your financial goals. Remember, at GeeGoals, we looking to connect you, make sure that you get banked, and also get funded for any financial product and service that you need. So that's all. And if you're a financial provider and you like this, I really look forward to working with you. Come to GeeGoals, become a financial provider. We're making sure that bankings become personalized, truly personalized. We're just not a lead generation company. We're more than that. We're helping dreams become goals. And that's sustainably it.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for being here with us. And to our fantastic audience, definitely stay tuned for more conversations with real entrepreneurs just like Yasmil here. And we'll see you at the next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.